How do you handicap the playoffs then, the National Football League?
Oh, it's been a fun year. I've really enjoyed the NFL aspect of things this year. And, I was a little worried about the Lions with the injuries and just kind of how things were starting to play out. And then what they did Sunday night.
I agree. They have that grit. They got it. Dan
Campbell last year, and I thought he was very upfront when they lost to San Francisco. He said, I don't know if we'll ever be back. This is a lot of times it's a once in a lifetime chance. I mean, he didn't sugarcoat it at all. He went with what he did last year. I thought it was a mistake not to attempt the field goal on the fourth down, and I thought they would be the one in the Super Bowl, but they've come back and absolutely ruled. And for them to get the number 1 overall seed, making sure everybody has to come through Detroit, that's a big deal. And I like the Lions in the NFC.
You do?
Yep. I think that they are there, and I have a sneaky feeling it's going to be Buffalo.
Why?
Versus the Chargers for the AFC Championship.
Okay.
Ooh.
Let's unpack it.
Whoa.
Okay.
Why?
So it was imperative that the Chargers got the 5 seed. If they don't get the 5 seed, it's a different story. If you have to go to Baltimore or Buffalo this weekend, it's done.
Well, I mean, just for Baltimore, too, for the Chargers, that means Harbaugh for talking about the brother stuff, which obviously, I love talking about my brother, and I'm sure Jim and John do as well.
You can't beat him, though.
But again, one of those scenarios is not like the other,
yep.
Right? I mean, the other one, if you're Jim, you're not talking about that. You're going into Houston, which again, narratives are just that. They can be completely blown up.
I thought Cleveland was going to walk in there last year and beat them.
But Houston wound up winning that, and
Big
we
time.
all thought that that they could get got because here is a rookie quarterback and C.J. Stroud, yada yada yada, and they go to Kansas City and make the Final Four in their conference. But right now, I think you would absolutely say the Texans are the weakest division winner.
I called the Ravens-Texans Christmas Day game. Well, the Beyonce concert with football around it.
Nice.
And that's what I saw that really plain and simple. And then the following Saturday, 4 days later, I was in Foxborough calling the Chargers-Patriots game, and Chargers looked unstoppable.
How good is that lad McConkey, man?
He is special, and then they got a special quarterback. And so me and Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert have a good text thread going now since he got the job. And so it's pretty funny to hear some of the messages that come back from those two. I told them I would take care of the Steelers on week 18. They needed to take care of the Raiders. Mm-hmm. They did that. They get Houston. I think they beat Houston. They have no fear of going to Kansas City. They have zero fear. They lost 19-17 last time. They spend a game of their year every year. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season, and I think they get the upset in Arrowhead and have to go to either Baltimore or Buffalo for the AFC Championship.
Do you think the Los Angeles Chargers, one and done, the 15 win, going for a three-peat Kansas City Chiefs? That's your belief.
That's my big take.
Okay. Now, what can you tell me about this text chain with you? A predecessor, or you're the predecessor of this man,
yes.
As a San Diego Charger quarterback,
and
Jim
Harbaugh.
Was
my backup.
These are
That's amazing.
Can you believe that? Jim was my backup. He taught me how to be a professional. Like, I had really struggled my rookie year. He came in my second year, and I was hurt all year, and I saw how a professional behaves, acts, prepares.
Yes.
He taught me how to be a professional quarterback, and that's every stop I had along the way in Tampa, Dallas, and Seattle. There was never any issues again.
Well, what did he say to you when you were? Was he on the team when you had that meltdown with the reporter?
No, that was my rookie year.
Okay, so he came in after that.
He came in my second season. Yeah.
All right.
And at first it was just watch me. He said he didn't talk much. Just watch how I do this, because he'd been doing it for a long time.
Yes, he had,
and he'd been really, really successful at it. And so he helped me a ton. And then of course I followed him, throughout his coaching career, how great he was. His championship in Michigan, and then when he got the Chargers job, I just thought it was a perfect fit. Kind of a homecoming. The Spanos family really felt comfortable with them. And then I go golfing with Justin Herbert every summer up at Abandon, and God, he was just so alive with the idea and having met Jim and what it was going to be. So we kind of just started this text thread at about, I would just send like messages great game this weekend. Proud of you guys. And then Justin's, like, one of his last ones was like, thank you, good sir. That was like what it's like. I go, that's so fitting for Justin Herbert. I just, if you know him, and that fits right into it. And then Jim's kind of like, he's gotten more eccentric over his time, and sometimes he just is kind of, he compartmentalizes while he's doing things, and some of the messages are like really straightforward, like, like he's almost analytical in his response to me about why they won the game or something like that, instead of like, yeah, thanks, pal, that was wonderful, appreciate you being there, or something like that. He's
like breaking down the X's and O's.
Just well,
like we saw the A gap, we were going to go, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
he's a Michigan man.
What's the text chain called? Former Charger quarterbacks, or what are we called?
I actually don't have a name for it.
Oh, we got to name that.
You guys got to name it. Yeah.
What are we going to get?
Oh my goodness.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
No, name it. Don't talk to me. All right.
That one? Don't talk to me, all right?
Talk to me, all right?
My wife said this the other day. She goes, wow. My wife, Anna said this while we were, she goes, I don't think I've ever heard you say, don't talk, or knock it off. She goes,
knock it off.
I don't know if I've ever heard you say knock it off
to anyone, to anybody about anything.
And she says knock it off to our son all the time. And she's like, yes. And she's like, I say that to our son all the time, and I don't think I've ever heard you say it. And that's your caricature. Just knock it off.
Knock it off.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me, all right?
No, I think we should go positive here.
Okay,
like,
you're right.
I don't know.
26 Super Bowl champion.
Who's got it better than us?
I don't know. I can't say nobody. There's three somebodies. They all have something in common. They have all
been Chargers
thrown
quarterbacks.
Footballs with a lightning bolt on the side of their helmets. I don't know, like the Bolt QB Club or something like that.
QBs, I like that. Bolt up QBs.
Bolt up QB Club.
QB Club.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
you know how to rename it, right, on your phone? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And tell them that was our idea.
I will.
Because
they'll be appreciative. When's the?
It's so funny. Every single time I've come across anybody that's been around Jim or whatever, I'm like, tell Jim I said hi. Because again, I have nothing but love and respect for him. He can. The people who come up to me after he left Michigan to go to the Chargers, they're like, are you upset with Jim that he left Michigan? And I'm like, there's a man-made lake outside of SoFi Stadium. I think he walked on it to sign his contract. Okay,
that's how I feel.
I'm great.
Yeah,
I'm great with him, about him. He was great with our run. He showed up to our 40-yard dash at the Rose Bowl. He was a prince. He was incredible. And then just on top of it, he was my first quarterback when I was a freshman at Michigan. He quarterbacked the team of my first ever Michigan Wolverine team I ever rooted for. I'm a freshman. He's a senior. Jumbo Elliott, and all of those guys.
He's on a different pedestal with you.
Oh
yeah,
of that there's no doubt.
No doubt.
So I don't. Obviously it would be a surprise if they make the AFC, if they won and done the Chiefs, make the AFC Championship game, go into Buffalo, go into
Baltimore.
Yeah. Now the Harbaugh of an AFC Championship game would just be off the charts, insane.
Because it's a coin toss then. You get to one game like that, you just figure out a way. Like that's, everybody would say it's Buffalo or it's Baltimore. But you get in that place, you get one opportunity. You don't ever know what's going to happen. So that's why
Championship Sunday.
That's why I like Detroit versus Buffalo, which would be an incredible Super Bowl.
Chris was talking about that just yesterday.
Yeah.
That New Orleans would be chock filled with fans who have been waiting for this moment and hope, and knowing half of that fan base would go home sorely disappointed, but the other one would just have the year of their lives, the year of their football lives, And that would be insane.
And so I think that's what I would hope for. I don't know if anybody beats Baltimore. But last year I thought no one could beat Baltimore, and Kansas City went into Baltimore.
I know that, and we talked about that earlier on our show about Baltimore a little bit, about how I think not enough people are really giving them enough credit right now, because we are all focused on Kansas City and Buffalo. So I get what you're saying. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.